This is XFM from the Edinburgh Festival on a Saturday, well, not morning, what do you describe it, lunchtime?
Well, it's after midday now.
It's after midday, so lunchtime?
Afternoon.
Well, I'm not going to throw people's eating times down the throats. Still joined by Charlie Baker.
Hello.
Eating a flapjack. Can we hear that flapjack being eaten? Is that...
I love a flapjack.
You can.
Yeah.
Have you ever made flapjacks?
Well, no, less tangents, Charlie, less tangents.
That's what you need in flapjacks, no more tangents.
And joined for the final hour by James Acaster.
Yeah.
Oh. How are you, James?
Yeah, very well, thank you, James.
I mean, you've been here kind of chipping in.
I've been here.
When you heard there was free flapjack.
Tunnock's tea cake, and I've folded the wrapper into a neat square, so productive day already.
Well, if anyone's a neat square, James, it's you. Eh?
Oh, that was very good.
Straight, hit me where it hurts. Right out the doors.
How, do you like Edinburgh?
Yeah, mate, I love it.
Having fun?
Yeah, more or less. Having fun, you know.
I said to you, I'd seen someone tipped your show on Twitter.
Yep, my dad. My dad tweeted about it yesterday. Hashtag proud parent. He actually put, and he also tagged John Richardson in it because John was at the gig, and my dad turned round to him without John knowing that it was my dad, asking him subtly what he thought of the show and what he thought of this young comic, and then revealed to John, I'm his father, and then John went, right, so that was all a big trap, was it? What if I said I didn't like it? How awkward would this have been?
Was your mum there?
My mum was there.
Hands?
My mum was there, just like David up to his usual undercover Edinburgh shtick. Apparently he did it in the queue as well to some guys behind him. He turned around to them and went, how did you hear about this young man? Why are you coming to see him? And finding out from them, you know, what the
How have they heard?
were. Apparently they choose 6 shows every Edinburgh. They choose 2 established acts, 2 up-and-comers and 2 brand-new acts.
They're not brand new.
That they haven't heard of. So I come and see them. So, yeah, you know.
So
I was one of the 6.
You were one of the 6?
One of the.
And did he reveal his secret to them as well?
No, I don't think he did. I don't think he goes revealing his secrets to everyone. David Acaster.
But you know, when you left the stage, he stood up and shouted, I'm the boy's father.
Yeah, he went, you have me to thank, and this lady here. It was a group effort. Not a group. Hopefully. Well, ideally wish loads of people in the room stood up, and there's some speculation.
Josh Widdicombe, Podcast XFM.
James, you brought a present.
Yeah, brought a little present along. Basically, Josh, I got your text when I was leaving my flat about bringing a souvenir. I didn't have anything, so I ducked into a charity shop and bought a xylophone. It's a little xylophone, it's not a big one.
Have you got a
wheel
beater?
around. No, this is the thing, it didn't come with a beater.
Mate, a xylophone without a beater is just like a small, rigid table.
Yeah, that's all it is. I mean, it's like a washboard, really, isn't it? Like, the lady, it was a charity shop. And
How much did you pay?
I said, do we have a beater?
No.
And she said no, and I didn't want to go, well, forget it then. £3. That doesn't work, does it?
Do you play the xylophone in your show, Charlie?
Yeah, I do, yeah, I've got a xylophone.
So could you not
but
tune out on
do you know
that?
what? No, I tried to get a really good xylophone for my show, and a proper xylophone is like £300.
Really?
400 quid, yeah, that you can tune and stuff. So I got like a 12 quid one off eBay.
So could you play the bit that you play in your show on there?
No, it's not right. No, is the answer.
That's a nice one. We're actually, in many ways, appropriate for it. Our second meeting with a xylophone, me and James took part in Live Nightmare. With a K.
The show.
The children's TV show.
Yeah.
And our first task, we were presented with a table, and we could take 2 items. And the items we got to choose from were a xylophone, chalk,
and a tin opener.
Which 2 would you have taken, Neil?
I would have taken the xylophone and the tin opener. Do you want some trivia about tin openers?
Yes.
They were invented 45 years after the tin.
What?
Yeah.
A mechanical tin opener?
Yeah.
So you used to have a thing, that's what's on a Swiss Army.
Yeah, no, they didn't just have tins of food that they couldn't open for 45 years.
Right, we've got it in there, how do we get it out?
I love beans.
I've got them in this tin.
So, we did. Well, we took the.
Did you need them later on to play like a tune, like Goonies-esque?
We did. We played a little tune to get into a nightclub that was guarded by a goblin.
But we were also we played Nightmare with it beforehand. Eh?
Oh, very good.
Do you know people who paint alphabets for kids when they have like
they have xylophones
on there? What do you think they were quite
before
annoyed?
the invention of the xylophone?
No. Well, do you think the xylophone was obviously always there? What happened when X-ray came along? You had to learn to paint that then, didn't they? People who painted X.
But just an X-ray of a xylophone.
Very good.
Very clever.
Very good.
There you go. Put that up.
And someone,
if you are getting X-rayed, a little fun trick you can do: strap 2 xylophones to your chest, and then it looks like you got really weird ribs. It comes out in the X-ray. They get really concerned. What is wrong with this man? His ribs. It's the weirdest.
Xylo ribs.
I love the letter X. That's all that's wrong with me.
Loving the X. XFM. It could be XFM's new.
How we didn't get to XFM? That should be the new logo for XFM.
A man with xylophone ribs.
With xylophone ribs going through an X-ray
machine.
Josh Widdicombe Podcast XFM.
Still joined by James Acaster, who is currently having his photo taken because his microphone matches his socks. Edinburgh Festival,
refuses to
the
turn
greatest arts festival in the world, and that's the most excited I've seen you in a week.
Mate, some shows, that is all they do.
Where would that be listed in the brochure? Theatre or modern dance?
Contemporary dance, mate. Contemporary dance.
It's winning an award, I'll tell you that much.
Right, now... it's just good to see something that isn't stand-up. Really breaks up the day. We are talking. This is your chance, James, for your classic scrape.
An Edinburgh one.
Yeah,
it's from like a few Edinburghs ago. Well, I made a faux pas and I didn't mean to. Right. Basically, okay. So at the start of the festival, a comedian that I really like. I think she's hilarious. Holly Byrne. You heard of Holly Byrne?
Yeah.
So I would never congratulate anyone on reviews now, but at the time I didn't know this wasn't what you did. But anyway, so I went up to Holly Byrne and said, congratulations on that review, and she was very nice about it. She was like, oh, thanks so much, and I said to her, look, by the way, I don't, I'm not one of those people who just goes around saying this to everyone and just congratulating. Like, honestly, I'm only saying it to you because I'm genuinely really happy.
Did you add also, are you single? Because it does.
Yeah, I said, by the way, will you marry me? So I did that, beginning of the festival, left it. Whole festival just went about my business. It's fine. And then, almost near the end of the festival, I was in Brooks Bar.
Which is an artist bar.
A little bar full of comics all mingling with each other, and I saw someone from a sketch group called the Boom Jennies, all female sketch group.
Yeah.
And I'd seen them before Edinburgh and thought that one of them was one of the most
was possibly single.
was possibly single and could do would maybe like to settle down with a gent who gets into all kinds of scrapes. And just
no,
I saw her and I went, "Hey, you're in the Boom Jennies." She went, "Yeah." I went, "You." It's the most inherently funny people I've seen in ages. Really funny. She looked at me like really quite unimpressed at the time, if I'm honest. And I was like, oh, because Brooks is like always full of comics going around saying this kind of stuff to each other. This must seem quite I seem quite shallow, and I'm just another person just like trying to climb up the ladder and network. So I went, oh no, I don't just go around saying this kind of stuff to people. Then Holly Byrne turned around.
Brilliant. This is brilliant.
Then she just turned around and went, well, you said it to me at the beginning of
no,
mate.
So where was Holly Byrne stood?
Holly Byrne stood at the bar, back to us. We were behind her at the bar.
I
was doing this. Holly Byrne heard this.
Can you imagine how her heart was breaking?
Yeah.
Heart was breaking and probably thinking, I'm not letting this creep get away with this, because it's the exact same line he fed me.
And she was clinging on to that the whole of the festival.
Yeah.
At least that James liked me.
Yeah. And she just turned around and he said that to me, and then they both looked at me like, oh, I said, and I'd go, oh no, you two are the only two. Which sounds so much like a lie.
Worse, mate.
Someone, I can't remember who else was standing there with one of their friends, and someone else went, this is a guy as well, he went, it's funny as well because you're both women, aren't you? I was like,
cool.
I was like, whoa, like, no, come on, man, like, honestly.
That is if they are listening, would you like to make an on-air apology?
Yeah. Boom Jennies, I'm a sincere man. Every time I tell people they're good, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Josh, and I want you to know I want you to know that I really did think one of you was inherently funny.
One of you? That's what I like.
No,
mate.
She was the one I paid the compliment to. She was the one I paid the compliment to.
The other two boomers going, not only...
I know, they're all funny, but I'm just saying, like, she's
the
one...
It's a coincidence that the ones you didn't like are the ones that had boyfriends.
Yeah.
Oh, no. The Boom Jenny that I said was very funny. I meant it from the bottom of my heart.
You can't even remember her name, mate. That's how funny you thought she was.
And the other two Boom Jennies, I was interested in boyfriend conversation. I was just quite drunk at the time, and I was...
mate.
Let's play some music. This is XFM.
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.
That was We Share the Same Sun by the Stereophonics. Brand new. How brand new is brand new?
Well, it's their new single from their latest album.
Right. So if you've had the album, then medium new Stereophonics on XFM. A Edinburgh Festival special for the second week. I'm joined by a man who, before the hour, was described by John Robbins as the most important thing to happen to comedy. No, political comedy. That's since Mark Thomas. Matt Ford, hello.
Hello, thank you. Welcome.
How did that feel?
Rory Bremner must be seething.
I don't know if Rory Bremner listens to XFM. And, I'd like the idea that Rory Bremner's driving along listening to Biffy Clyro. And James Acaster, who's early.
Good boy being early.
I asked you to bring a memento or object that you feel... Well, not sums up the Edinburgh Festival, but how would you say it now?
Maybe just encapsulates what Edinburgh is for you.
It does for me, yeah. This is a CD of a particular band called the Red Hot Chili Pipers. They, not only does it represent some of the great punning you get at the Edinburgh Festival, but this is the CD that they play in nearly all of the tat shops up here.
Oh, yeah.
Sort of blaring bagpipe music. And what they do is do bagpipe covers of... My favourite one is The Voice. Diddly, diddly, diddly. And it just reminds me of when I first came to Edinburgh. I would walk around and hear this music blaring out. It made me feel really happy.
Someone told me that on the way up to Edinburgh, you'll listen to the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah. Who told you that?
I can't remember. Someone told me at the start of the festival.
Yeah, I would listen. I used to have a special Edinburgh playlist that had Girls Aloud.
Why Girls Aloud?
The first time I did Edinburgh, I had Girls Aloud like in my pre-match music or pre-gig music. That just shows
huge insight into 40's mind there, how he views comedy gigs.
Yeah, that's exactly how I viewed it. But then I would have
stretches.
I had the Red Hot Chili Peppers and another band called the Porridge Men, which I would listen to on the way up, just about an hour out of Edinburgh. So it'd be about like a 4.5 hour train journey. First 3.5 hours I'd have Oasis and stuff like that, just normal stuff, and then it'd get into Girls Aloud sort of halfway through, and then an hour away it'd hit the bagpipe rock, and then I'd be
once you went past Berwick upon Tweed, the bagpipe rock was...
Yeah. And I'd get a few cans
imagine you listening to that in the train. Imagine you like, on top of the train, like a Bond film, listening to the Red Hot Chili Pipers just fist pumping going into Edinburgh.
They are excellent. I thoroughly recommend it. So that has always been the sound of Edinburgh for me, and it's something that I sort of romantically linked to this wonderful city.
What's the sound of Edinburgh for you, Acaster? Just like titters?
Titters and the sound of people shuffling out of my venue.
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.
My tongue hurts. I mean, it's not time to discuss it. Not like that, Matthew. We'll move on.
Okay.
Yeah, your face dropped then, as if to go, actually. It's serious.
I thought it was going to be some sort of Lothario activity that had led to it, but...
No, just drinking away the tears. Still joined by James Acaster.
Yeah.
Matt Ford.
Hello, mate.
Now the topics, and our producer Neil, of course.
Good morning.
God, you sound tired.
It's hit me now. Yeah.
You've only been up for a day. Edinburgh's hit me. I've been here 12 hours.
Think
what a month's like.
Neil came to my show last night, and he was late because he was in a scrape. What happened, Neil?
Should we do it now? Do you want to do it now? All right, we'll do the text in a bit. But I was in a taxi going to your gig, and the taxi hit another car. So while the taxi driver got out to exchange details, I was locked in the back.
Oh, were you shouting?
Well, I was kind of conscious of time.
I like to think they were negotiating. The guy was like, I won't press charges if you just give me that guy in the back. Give me him, he's mine.
That just sounded like you had some sort of existential crisis. I was very conscious of time. Crikey, what was going on in the back of that cab?
Even more conscious of time when you sat through my show, I'm sure.
So, was the clock going up?
He went, we'll just call it a tenner for the journey, because it was about 15.
Call it nothing, mate. You crashed.
It was held captive. Sort of Terry Waite of Edinburgh, mate. You should write a book about this.
We chained to the car radio.
I'm so sorry for being late, James.
So, mate, no, it sounds so serious.
Did you hear that when he was 10 minutes late, he weren't going to go in?
I wasn't going to go in, and the kind of usher guy was like, "You're not that late, just go in."
Yeah, he's a good guy. That guy, he's getting fired this morning.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
From this unseemly scrape. 2 topics we're talking about this morning. Number 1 is the smallest audience you've been in. Although that was the way we texted it out to people. For you and James, it should be the smallest audience you performed to. So we can tackle that one, or we can tackle places you've seen your teachers out and about.
Smallest audience, I performed to 2 people, and the compere, it was his gig, and he insisted on going ahead with it. And he also insisted that banter was lazy, and that no one was allowed to banter with these 2 people. And we had to all go up and do it, and if we bantered, we wouldn't ever get booked to these gigs again. And at that point, for some reason, I actually wanted to get rebooked by this guy. And we all went on, performed to silence one after the other, and then as the couple left, they came over and said merci, and I realised we were performing our English stand-up to people who didn't really fully understand it, and a bit of banter would have cleared that up early doors. But yeah, we didn't know.
Oh, it's dreadful. I performed to last Edinburgh 3 people on the first day of the festival.
Oh my word,
That
what a
was really
start.
bad. I came out, and the problem was, the first year I came here, the numbers were quite
You hadn't even had the bad reviews by that point.
So I thought, it'd be all right. I think I'll be quite busy this year. It's the second year. My numbers were all right last year. So I was like, sort of backstage psyching myself up for what I thought was going to be
Did you not check your numbers?
No. And I sort of came out and I looked almost in disbelief. One of them was my mate, and he said, you came out and sort of looked at you, and my face dropped. I almost went, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
But I had to sort of soldier on. Sort of, what's that? I went, hello, Edinburgh. And inside the whole time just thinking, I just want to cry and go home.
See, you think you've got it bad. You've been here 12 hours. You don't have to do gigs.
Josh Widdicombe.
And we are talking, one of the subjects we're talking about is seeing your teachers in unlikely places. I got deluged with tweets. Sometimes we do a topic that we don't really think is going to go anywhere, and you get more tweets than you could ever imagine. It's Claire Hale. One of my students caught me returning from holiday on a ferry with a ton of booze and duty-free fags. I don't know if that would be a positive, wouldn't it?
Yeah, amazing.
A ton, though.
She was taping them to her body at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the sort of teacher you think, I reckon I could pull her. He's so excited.
Did you fancy your teachers?
Loads of them, yeah. No, it's the ones that all the rude boys fawn over. So there was one at our school who was really, really, was not just pretty for a teacher, but a very, very beautiful woman. Like, all these lads would be in the playground going, yeah, let me 10 pence here. What's the matter with you? Give me your dinner money. Hi, miss. How's it going? Nice to see you, miss. Really nice today. Give me your dinner money. Amazing. See these guys just turn into pussycats.
John Britton.
Nice guy, I know him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I was trying to keep the magic going that we had listeners, mate.
I should point out, everyone who's ever texted into this show is my personal friend.
I grew up in Holland and once saw my geography teacher coming out of this shop. I've clicked on the photo. This is exciting. Because we all know the key word in that sentence was Holland.
Holland and Barrett.
We normally just do 2, but I'm enjoying them. This is Chelsea 88. My chemistry teacher turned up at a body pump class I was teaching when I was 17. Awkward role reversal. As if suddenly the hunter has become the prey.
So you want a body pump, do you? Maybe you should have thought of that when you were giving me all those donations.
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.
You told me yesterday, even though you're Scottish, this is the first time you've ever been to Edinburgh. Not festival, just generally.
Or Scotland.
How many times? Born in Glasgow, raised until I was 5, then I moved to Birmingham, and then to London.
English to your very core. You said you've got some Scottish facts for us that you wanted to intersperse in the show to give it an Edinburgh feel.
Well, yeah, it's because we're not doing trivia as well.
Yeah.
So, Scottish fact. Scotland, obviously, apart from being the mainland, is also home to 700 islands.
That is a good fact.
That is good.
That is a
Very
good fact.
good, yeah.
Thanks.
Have you been
Really?
to any of the islands, anyone?
I've been to Skye.
Castaway, that was nice, wasn't it?
Orkney.
Castaway was on Taransay.
On what?
Do you remember Castaway with Ben Fogle?
Oh, yeah.
The island was called Taransay.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant
Not the Tom Hanks film.
Yeah. That is what I
That's not
thought.
filmed off the coast of Scotland.
Crikey.
He'd make friends with a
Haggis.
haggis.
Yeah, I mean, that is the go-to, isn't it? A caber. With a little face on it, carrying that around the island with him. Oh, I really regret making friends with a caber. It's so heavy.
He'd still make friends with a football, but he'd just not be able to use it very well. Hey, guys?
Yeah.
Is this thing on?
Like, oh,
No. Have you ever seen... We were talking about seeing a teacher out and about.
I saw a teacher that taught at my school in Nottingham who was just quite a tubby chap. He was so drunk, we saw him at a Forest game trying to climb the wall and get him for free.
Amazing.
He was absolutely mad trying to climb the wall around the back of the old Trent end. He went, "Oh, it's Mr. Such and Such." He went, "What?" And he was like, it was just no way he was doing it. His two mates were trying to give him a leg up. He was like, "Someone going, sir," and he sort of legged it. And then obviously the moment we got to school on Monday, like we couldn't wait to tell our teacher.
Oh, my word.
Wiltshire was taking our names. Like, "Oh, sir, we saw Mr. What's his flavour down at Forest." He was like, "No way!" Like other teachers came and went, "Let me just go and get Mrs. She came and was like, "Yeah,
That's brilliant.
cornered me in the corridor at lunchtime. Went, "Mr. Ford, you've got a very big mouth, and I suggest you keep it shut." I said, "Mate, are you trying to silence me?" I said,
You can't silence the truth.
Also, what kind of person would you be if you saw your own teacher trying to scale a wall to get into a forest game and you just went, "I'll keep that to myself." Not telling that will stay firmly in the airwaves need such stories.
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.
Still joined by producer Neil,
Good morning.
James Acaster,
Yes.
Matt Ford. One of the subjects we're talking about is the smallest audience you've ever been in. James?
I think the smallest audience I've been in was 4 people watching,
Yeah.
but it was at the Edinburgh Festival.
Yeah.
And it was there was me, a mother and her son who was about 11, and a man in a kilt.
to be having kids.
Broken Britain.
And then this man in a kilt with a handlebar moustache sat on the front row on his own. And
Amazing.
first on was so I can't remember her name, but she was.
Why were you there?
It was raining. It was raining, and they literally flyed me out, and they went, "You can come in here and watch it." And that year, I'd do anything to get out of the rain. It was like raining constantly, so I went in there.
And that year you were camping as well.
I was camping that year as well. I'll tell you what, more about that later. But I was sitting there, and so this first act, she's halfway through like her first routine, and then she just freezes and looks at the Scottish man on the front, and he's just looking back at her, and she went, "Oh, are you? When you moved your legs, did I just see?" And he just nodded his head really slowly at her, and she went, "Oh, I saw it, didn't I?" I saw it. Oh, I saw it. And then she just kind of like, and then she'd try and carry on with her routine. Then she'd get halfway through her routine, she'd stop and go, "I'm sorry, everyone. I just happened to me. But I can't really." And then the man was sitting there, no shame, and just looking at her like, "Yep, that's what happens." And then the whole gig was just tarred with this the fact that this man.
Did the other acts reference it?
Yeah, well, everyone was coming out like a bit like, okay, well, this, because obviously when it's a full room, if that had happened, it would have been really funny. When it's 4 of you in the audience, you are just a small group of strangers, and one of you has got their genitalia out. That's all it is at that point.
Triple XFM.
Yeah.
Josh Widdicombe, Podcast, XFM.
This is XFM on a Saturday lunchtime now, and still joined by producer Neil,
Good afternoon.
James Acaster,
Hello.
Matt Ford.
Hello, mate.
How does it feel to be on another radio station?
Feels nice.
Awkward.
Oh, well, I didn't mean that. I meant it in a polite way.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be anywhere, isn't it? Sort of like getting. It's just like getting. Start playing in a friendly elsewhere, like sort of pre-season game for me.
You've got to get the hours in, haven't you? Get the hours in your legs. One of the topics we're talking about is seeing teachers in places you don't expect. As an offshoot of this, I was thinking about, because they would always wear bad clothes if you saw a teacher out and about. What did your teachers wear on Mufti Day as an offshoot?
They didn't have to wear uniform, did they? So
No, but sometimes because they'd come in suits,
Wouldn't
but
wear this,
sometimes
yeah.
they'd dress down, and it was the most embarrassing thing. We had a teacher, I can't say his name, but on his first day with the class, he said, "I'm just like you, I like the same music. I like a bit of Texas, I like the prod."
oh no!
Oh, I like a bit of Texas. I like the prod.
Brilliant.
It would have been amazing if he'd have come in dressed as crisscross with all his clothes backwards.
But on Mufti Day, he came in dressed like in a schoolboy outfit.
No, like AC/DC.
Yeah, well, no. But like with a cap, like a kind of schoolboy from the Beano.
Amazing.
A teacher come in, a male teacher came in dressed as Little Bo Peep on Mufti Day in the full outfit with like a wig on. He had really long black hair, but he tied it up and then put this blonde wig on top of it with like big pigtails coming out of it. And then he did the assembly that day. And during it, was saying about, do you like my lovely blonde hair? And everyone was going, well, it's not really your hair, it's a wig. And he went, oh, pull it off, go for it, pull the wig off. And then someone did, and he'd shaved his head completely, so it was a cue ball. And then he ran round the assembly hall screaming in our faces that his hair had fallen out.
What is that story?
It's horrible. Absolute legend.
That's so bizarre.
On his last day, when he left the school, on his final day, he just didn't show up, and he didn't tell them. And it threw the whole day into bedlam of having to get teachers to cover him. I really look up to him.
I've sidetracked us. Let's be honest. It was my own fault. I admit it. Let's play placebo, and then we'll get back on topic.
The Plas.
Josh Widdicombe. XFM.
We're talking this morning about seeing your teachers in unlikely places. Martin Fern. Oh, that's your brother.
That is my brother.
He's texted in.
Has he?
It really now looks like we've got no listeners, so we'll ignore him. Nicola Marie Lucas. I saw my teacher at V Festival in Leeds, had to hide behind a tree. First thing, Nicola, V Festival isn't in Leeds.
Stafford. She's misunderstood. Like, teachers do not have jurisdiction at V Festival. It's beyond them. Like, you're fine there. You can do whatever you like.
She brought in a plastic bottle of whiskey from the camping site onto the main site.
Both dancing to the prod together.
Oh my God, where are the trees? I need to get behind a tree.
It's me and a teacher.
It must be, if you go to things as a teacher, it must be constant fear.
Yeah, what if you're drunk and teachers still go on the pool, don't they? I mean, we saw a teacher once, so I can't go into too much detail, but we saw a female teacher in a nightclub in Nottingham. We just stood there transfixed around this sort of, it was in one of the alcoves around the dance floor. There's a lot of grubby nightclubs in Nottingham, but that was just marvellous. And her authority after that just ebbed away. She really was a late
She lost
ducking
the dressing room at that point.
Josh Widdicombe. XFM.
It now comes to the time which has been described by many people, including producer Neil, as the best bit of the show.
Oh, no pressure there. Then it was
Classic scrape.
my first Edinburgh. I didn't know that the Edinburgh Festival was even a big deal for comedians at the time. I'd started doing stand-up, and no one had told me that Edinburgh was the place. And so, a week before Edinburgh, all of my friends were, like you, who were researched into comedy before doing it. We're going, well, we're going to Edinburgh now. I was like, where are you guys going? And suddenly all my mates, I was like, oh, maybe I should have gone to that thing everyone's just left for. And I worked in the kitchen at the time, and a woman who worked there said, oh, well, I've just cut this coupon out of the newspaper, £2 megabus ticket.
Wow.
So, you can have it if you want. So, yeah, and she gave me this thing, and I didn't have anywhere to stay. So I left it to the last minute.
Nice.
So I borrowed a tent from my friend. Got the 12-hour bus journey to Edinburgh. Where, by the way, on the journey, I was sat next to two Canadian girls, very pretty. And I was really getting on with them until we got into Scotland and I saw the sea. And I went, oh, look, it's the sea. And they both turned around and looked back at me and shrugged their shoulders. And I thought, forget it. If you don't care about seeing the sea, you can absolutely jog on. I am not having anything to do with you. Enjoy your festival. So I got to Edinburgh and I went to this campsite was about a 15-minute bus journey from the centre from the actual festival. Ooh. Set my tent up in a field that was in a bowl shape.
Oh, James.
Bowl-shaped field.
Think it through.
But it was the only...
I had a great phone reception.
but by the way, I'd like to point out, I didn't have any other options. It's quite a month. And
you went for a whole month?
Well, I was there for the first 2 weeks. That's all I was there for. 2 weeks, and it rained. First night, flooded. Just absolutely flooded. All of my belongings, everything. Just flooded the whole tent. I bought a towel, a second towel, and laid it down that night to sleep on, so that I was at least be dry for a bit.
Oh, mate.
And then obviously wake up in the morning and it's soaking wet again.
Oh my word, that's the bleakest scrape of all time.
Yeah. So 2 weeks of that, And from there, I didn't go home from Edinburgh. I went to the Green Man Festival, where I had been booked to do stand-up also. So I went from rainy Scotland for 2 weeks in a tent to a festival in Wales, where I would be camping in a tent. The rain was worse there, so I get up. I've got to unpack my tent, which is already soaking wet, and pack it up and set it up at Green Man. What the point of that was, I don't know. Did my gig, which was on a pallet in a field, not even in a tent, just out in the open, chucking it down with rain. Came off. I wanted to get out of the rain, so I went to the tea and cake tent, bought a slice of chocolate cake and a cup of tea, sat down in one of their chairs, and deliberately fell asleep because I didn't want to be awake anymore.
Oh my
James.
And then I woke up a few hours later, and there was some folk singer on at the main stage. Everyone was really dancing, and I woke up, and there's a lady in front of me, a middle-aged woman with ribbons in her hair and ribbons hanging off of her arms. She went, "Hey, you enjoy your sleep?" And I just went, "It was better than staying awake and being confronted by the reality that surrounded me right now." And I just ruined everyone's good time in the tent. All of them just kind of stopped dancing. And they just
That was the one bit that everyone heard.
Yeah. All they heard was me. Yeah. At my gig, they heard me saying, "I hate this festival. I hate my life." I just ruined everyone's good time.
Oh my word! Right, that sums up what the Edinburgh Festival's like for.
It wears away at a man's soul until he depresses a bunch of people at a completely different festival.
Josh Widdicombe.
XFM.
Franz Ferdinand, final Scottish band of the 2 Edinburgh specials. Is that correct, Neil?
That is correct, yeah.
He came to one of my Edinburgh shows.
Did he?
Lovely man. He came up to me afterwards. He's a very nervous man, just like giggling like a little girl, but in a nice way.
Stuff?
I think he did. I mean, he basically came up to me because I'd pointed him. I was the only comic on the bill who pointed him out. Everyone else was like, well, obviously don't mention him. And I just went, he's from Franz Ferdinand.
Black Keys, Little Black Submarines. This is Josh Widdicombe on XFM. Joined again for the final hour. He was away last week, but he's back. Mr. James Acaster.
Big time.
How are you?
Pretty good. How are you, Josh?
Good.
Got a bit of a cold.
You've got a bit of a cold?
So in case anyone wonders why I'm a bit bassier this week.
I was thinking, because someone turned up the treble on James's mic.
Yeah.
Since I last saw you, you've lost the Foster's Award.
Yeah, it's a yearly tradition. Every year I go there, deliberately lose, look at come back.
So you have yet another scrape, is that why?
Yeah. I was trying. If I won, it would have been inconsistent with my
Congratulations on nomination.
Yeah,
very well,
much, mate.
very well deserved, very well achieved. You know, don't even know what that means.
I don't know what it means.
But well done. One of the things we'll talk about this morning, James, is children's TV shows, which has kind of branched off. I've since found out now that Dave was on a children's TV show, producer Dave.
I was.
What? Get going back?
No, it wasn't. It was a program. It was a cooking program on a Saturday afternoon on ITV called Flantastic.
Was it
not
purely?
a program.
It was
purely flans.
It wasn't. No. I had to dress up as Prince Philip. I'm not sure. I'm still not sure why.
Are you sure this wasn't a dream?
It's actually happened.
What was the outfit for Prince Philip?
It was just a smart suit, I think. With
There's nothing says Prince Philip like a smart suit.
Prince Philip. Wait a minute, is this themed? Everyone's come as Prince Philip.
Amazing. Were you being mildly racist? Do you want to really push it home? Or?
No, I wasn't. No.
So what did you have to do?
I had to make egg mayonnaise crowns with someone called Jed, who ended up being on Coronation Street as a bit part actor a few years later. But it was good. I think I was only about...
slam there. Bit part.
I think I was only in like 2 episodes.
Street's going. He's now one of the few remaining cast members.
In one episode he played Prince Philip, I believe, at a funeral.
Why were you making crowns? Because you were Prince Philip?
Well, that's what I figured out later on, yeah. But I think that was just a happy coincidence. I wasn't actually making them. The presenter was, and I just kind of had to pretend I knew what I was doing with him. I was 10.
I don't understand what this is.
What happens? What's the flan thing? What's that got to do with it?
It's just a type of food, isn't it? So
I'm aware of that. I'm not discussing what flan is. But I'm saying, come on, I've got a degree. Let's. How does it work into the programme?
It didn't really, actually. Come to think of it, it was just a kids' cooking program called Flantastic. There was the actions as well. You roll your hands for the flan, then punch the air for the tastic. So Flantastic,
like that. For people at home, it's just done the action.
Yeah,
It's just done it, especially for us. Little roll of the hands and punch of the air.
Last question on this is how did you get on it?
they came round to our primary school, and they obviously just saw me and went, "That's Prince Philip in the making." If ever there was a
Quick question: why is that kid wearing a suit? Everyone else is in different uniforms. He's got a suit over there. He's being mildly racist,
making egg mayonnaise crowns.
light bulb. It's perfect.
Incredible. I saw a weird food thing. I saw a kids program in Amsterdam when I was there about 6 months ago, where I watched a room full of children count down from 20 before the presenter tried his first ever pickled onion, which is the most, and he quite liked it. It was the most 20.
Probably 20 as well. 10 or 5, not 20.
Do you reckon the show was running short?
Yeah, the director's at the side doing that finger thing. We can't count down.
Surely during that countdown, your mind wanders anyway. By 15, you're like, I don't care about him eating this onion. I wonder, I've got to pay that bill next week. You start thinking about other stuff. And then at the end, he's eating
You
the
come
onion.
back in around about 7, wouldn't you? 7, yeah. Snap. Oh, 7-6. Yeah.
I was thinking, it's looking nervous again.
No, Tom, what came up on the children's TV is you said you typed children's television into your phone. Is this what happened?
Yeah, well, occasionally, if we're talking about a subject, things I've written down in the past years of my pointless life, and I came up with a kids' TV program which I've written in my
do you
notes.
remember writing this into your phone?
No idea.
So just read it. What has it got a time and a date?
Yeah, 12th of August.
Fantastic.
Oh God, 12th of August 2012. This was mid-Edinburgh. If ever I'd lost faith in my solo show, it's when I'm writing ideas for kids' TV shows. So if you get a nominatable show like Acaster, you don't write stuff like this.
No, we write our acceptance speeches, then burn them the next day.
So, what time did you write this?
391 days ago, I wrote.
What does it say? What time you wrote it?
Oh, 3:47 a.m.
It's like kebab in hand.
Just having read a 3-star from Shortle.
Right,
This is it, yeah.
Read it out.
I wrote kids TV program. That's needless. It's known to myself. A kids program about a teenager who plays for a Premiership team while still at school, a la Rooney at Everton. This is my idea. It's yet to go anywhere, but if anyone wants to buy it off me,
It's like the whole premise. I thought it was going to be more.
Literally it. Yeah.
So-
So a 15-year-old kid plays for Wigan.
Plays for Wigan, and he's also has to juggle that with his homework.
It's exactly it. Yeah, and it's a cup final, and he's got an essay in. And he's just before they go on, he's finishing his work.
Taking it, actually, I might use that. And you've said it on this show, so I own the copyright.
Josh Widdicombe. Podcast. XFM.
James Acaster back with a classic scrape.
Oh, lovely music for it. Very nice. I wasn't expecting it. We didn't run through what the music was going to be. And as soon as it came in, I was like, "Bed." Yeah, I'm about to tell a scrape to this.
So James Acaster, it's slow reggae.
Yeah, it's kind of.
When I think of you, it's what I think of.
Yeah, that's how I want to be remembered always.
Because it's
what I
slow
was walking to. Scrape this week, right? It's because of that text texted about the loudspeaker and what things people have heard over Tannoy, and also a lot of people always say, James, you get into so many scrapes, but it doesn't seem like Josh gets into any. Well, Josh does when he's with me. This is a few years ago, and me and Josh were on a train to Leicester.
Yep.
Also, it's pointed out before we'd even left the station from London, a young man walked over to us. And you don't get this very often these days, but we were sitting on a table of 4 with 2 empty seats, and this young guy came over to us with he had a cardboard tube under his arm, and he went, "Hi, boys." Which you don't get very often. No. How's it going? Yeah, pretty good. He went, he went, "You look like a couple of nice fellas." Thanks very much.
Get what you're charged?
I've been to London. So yeah, well, we all have, because we're about to leave London, mate. That is not a conversation starter. But, guess what I was doing there? Don't know. I was presenting a talk about wind energy to some possible some people who could give money to my charity. And then he just opened up the cardboard tube and got out a poster which had loads of pictures of windmills. He went, "What do you think about that?" Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. He went, lovely.
he could get loads of wind energy out of them. I was like, yeah, I know. Okay, it's like, this is great. And that's what I've been talking to him about anyway, so fingers crossed. And he looked at our 2 seats next to us and he realised we weren't really up for chatting, so he kind of went, well, see you later. And then he sat, like, across the aisle, so he was still there, but, like, with his cardboard tube. We're like, well, we ducked out of that hell.
Will you be filmed for, like, some kind of European prank show? Behind the plant, you can see a camera popping out.
Very low-key joke. I've been showing some pictures of some windmills. It's their version of Trigger Happy.
Amazing.
The windmill poster guy going next to people in cafes. All right, just having a coffee, are you? Hey, guess what I've been doing? Look at this. What do you think about that?
Slightly confused at most. It's enough.
Here we go.
In Norway, they love that.
Guys, overly friendly. But so he sat there. Then the train got moving. Lovely journey for the first, I don't know, let's say an hour.
Yeah.
We had a lovely time of it. And then suddenly, the train jolted quite heavily, and we saw like rocks. Rocks just flying either side of the train out of the window. Yes, right. A few rocks flying in the air, and then even more rocks, and then the rocks started arching over the train and smashing the windows, and the whole carriage started shaking. The whole train was shaking.
And we were on a very high bit of rail, like we were above. There was a big way to fall.
Yeah, it was quite. Our chat that we were having slowly kind of like stopped, and then I remember just holding
away
on
from wind farms.
We both held onto the table. With like 2 hands and just looked at each other, eye contact, thinking, this is the last person we'll see before it's Josh Widdicombe. Okay. So, and then eventually the train stopped.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there trying to figure out what had happened. Also, and at this point, because then we go, we don't know how long we're going to be here for. Spoiler alert, we were there for 5 hours. And which is not good, because during the first 30 minutes, guess who came back to talk to us? Just came like, oh, yeah, I don't know what's going on here, do you? I've showed you this. But basically, we didn't know what had gone on, and the announcement that was made on the tannoy that came over was this guy went, ladies and gentlemen, just had a bit of a problem. Basically, the wheels that run the train on the tracks, they've fallen out. They've fallen off, and but don't worry, the train is not on fire. Which is not something, none of us had raised that. No one had brought, there was no speculation.
All you can think about is the fact that it might go on fire.
Yeah, it's not on fire. By the way, in the background, you could hear the fire alarm.
Amazing.
It's not on fire.
I like the idea he just started listing things that it's not. You know, it's not underwater. It's not
going to explode.
No terrorists on the train.
It's not going to fill with yogurt.
There is a man, though, who won't shut up about wind energy.
There's a very boring man on board, though, so you might all want to watch out.
Amazing.
He said, I'll tell you what, though, there is a lot of hot oil spewing onto a hot axle, which is not what we wanted to hear at all. Spewing. And then the next course of action was to send a member of the train staff down the aisle with a packet of is it Fangtastics or Tangfastics? Tangfastics, handing them out to people. Going, hey, have you had a Tangfastic yet? No, I'd love one. Obviously, we're at the bottom of the carriage, so we know that by the time it gets to us, we're cola bottles and that's it. All those dinosaurs and stuff are going to be gone. Forget about that dream. But she went past a window that had smashed, and then she looked at me and Josh, and she looked back at the window, she pointed at the window and she went, when did that happen? What? You know when the train derailed? Yeah, then. That guy didn't get too carried away about wind energy and start smashing windows during his speech.
Unless she was completely oblivious to it. That was her job, was just to hand out Tangfastics.
Yeah.
She's completely... she's getting on the day normally.
Her alarm goes off. I've got to hand out some Tangfastics. Whoa, what has happened here?
Hot axle. That's amazing. I was on a train once where it stopped in the middle of nowhere, and then on the tannoy they said, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we've had to stop because we just glanced a badger. Which I like to imagine they meant they just saw one. They had to slow down and have a look.
Stop it! Nature is beautiful.
Look out the right window.
Also, we had to be evacuated onto a rescue train, which is why it took so long for us to move off. And when we got on that train, the buffet was free on that train, and one of the guys, one of the passengers, got a Stella for free. And bearing in mind, he is now 5 hours late. His whole day has been absolutely ruined. He got this Stella, and he looked over to his wife, who was at the bottom end of the carriage, and just did the most enthusiastic thumbs up. Yeah! Like, this has all been worth it. I got a free. I told you. Every cloud.
The idea that he derailed the train himself on the off chance.
It was worth it, love.
We should have put that brick there, you're right.
Amazing.
Well, and that's why I don't hang out with you anymore.
Understandable.
Hey, thank you, James. Another classic scrape. It's genuinely brought it all flooding back. I remember also that the guy, the wind energy guy, was obsessed with 3G.
He said to him when the trainer derailed. He said to him, "Has anyone got 3G? Has anyone got GPS?" It's like we are not lost. That's not what's happened here. Yeah. I've been taking a wrong turn. They're like, "Oh dear me." Seem to have gone into a field again.
Yeah. Stay on the track. Stay on the track.
Can't help it. It's where the badgers are.
If he is listening, tweet us in or text us about wind energy.
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.
By the ocean, Queens of the Stone Age, and we're coming to the end now. We've got time for one more text on tannoys. Are you ready, James? For the headline one.
I'm ready.
Ready, Tom?
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, some friends and I were on a train from Oxford to Bristol after a weekend's drinking when the train driver apologised over the tannoy. He said, "Sorry about my laughter earlier, but I had 13 blokes tickling my legs and they're gone now." Not sure how 13 men got into the cabin or why they chose to tickle his legs.
They can't all be train staff.
James from
I've
Mitcham.
never got on a train and there's 14 men working on the train. They can't all. There must be something.
Is that why your train derailed, do you reckon?
Yeah, that was the ticklers. That must be everyone in first class just gets to do what they want.
One more that's just come in. I'll read this, the last one. About 9 years ago at Canary Wharf DLR station, a guy said over the tannoy, "Please stand back as the train approaches like a leaf in the autumn wind."
Absolute legend.
Absolute brilliant.
That's brilliant.
No, I mean, I think that's the best one.
It's beautiful.
I like it when the train drivers make a little snipe at someone. I saw a guy get on once and hold the door open for his mate. And once they got on, over the announcement, he went, "Well done, boys." Well done. Like, probably like, you're pleased with yourself.
Yeah, happy.
Great.
You achieved it. Happy. We're 30 seconds late now, mate. Slight delays on the Bakerloo line, thanks to you. For the final hour, as always, joined by James Acaster. Hello, James.
Morning.
Cut you off there, James. Before we get into you, I just need to announce the competition results. The winners of the tickets are Verity and Craig.
Yes, that's to see Sean and you.
To see Sean and me. And as a bit of a bonus on that, Verity also tweeted again to say, "I saw James Acaster at the Conservative Club in Goring by Sea last night."
Oh, my.
And for that, you've won an extra 600 tickets.
He was good.
I mean, there's a...
How was the
if there's ever a more depressing moment in my life, it's when my two mates are going, doing the Apollo. Saw James Acaster at the Conservative Club in Goring last night.
At least you didn't have to give tickets away for the Conservative Club in Goring by Sea. James, you've had a big week.
Big week. Goring Conservative Club.
No, I mean, tell you know what I'm angling at.
I know what you're getting at. It's the best
You met
thing that's ever happened
Wigfield.
to you. Yeah, Wigfield. If anyone doesn't remember Wigfield, she did the pop hit Saturday night in the early 90s? No, probably mid-90s.
It knocked Love Is All Around by Wet off number one when it was going for the record.
Knocked is a bit of a soft... Smashed it off of the top spot.
Yeah, so how was it?
It's amazing. She's my friend now on Facebook. I'm Facebook friends with a childhood hero. So I never thought that would happen.
So you met her because you did Nevermind the Buzzcocks?
Nevermind the Buzzcocks. She was in the lineup, and you had to, if you haven't seen Nevermind the Buzzcocks, there's a lineup of 5 people, and you had to say which one is the pop star of yesteryear.
You must have got it straight away, didn't you?
Yeah, I looked right at her and went, "There's Wigfield." Everyone else was
sadly they were looking for one of TLC, so it's really awkward.
They're looking for Gina G.
I always used to get her mixed up with Gina G.
Did you?
Yeah.
What was Gina G's one?
Well, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Similar, right?
Ooh, Saturday night. I like a bit of mixed.
More Sean Walsh mashups coming up later.
XFM, the mashup station. So, you met Wiggers.
Well, I didn't really get to meet her. I had to interrogate her during the lineup bit.
Yeah.
And had a bit of back and forth, but then she had to rush off and go to her brother's birthday meal in London. So she told the runners that I should add her on Facebook as a friend. And I thought, well, that's clearly a joke. She's not going to accept me as a friend on Facebook.
So did you just type Wigfield into Facebook and there she was?
I typed Wigfield in, and then her page came up and said Wigfield, and then in brackets, Sanny Carlson. That's her real name.
Oh, yeah.
That's what happens when you get into show business.
Huh? Don't give that away.
Sorry, everyone.
The magic.
Her real name is Wigfield. It's all she gets known by.
She's like a Brazilian footballer. She's only got one name.
And and so I found her personal page. I don't know. She approved that request in seconds. Straight up. She's probably still at her brother's birthday meal, checking her phone relentlessly to see if James Acaster would.
So when did you add her? On the night?
I think the next day. I played it cool, mate.
Yeah.
Played it cool. Leave her waiting.
Then have you had a bit of a tete-a-tete with Wiggers?
Yeah, I said, because basically I had to do a dance at her at one point. And it was the Saturday night dance, but I got it wrong.
Yeah.
Obviously. Did the Macarena.
Remember, you didn't have to do that. That was your choice.
That was my choice. Should probably point that out. It was. Well, I was kind of.
Noel Fielding got out a gun and said, "Do the dance."
John Hannah twisted my arm. If I'm honest, John Hannah was the host. He's just going around to me. New competition. If you know who John Hannah is, you win tickets to my next show at the Goring Conservative Club.
Even IMDb doesn't know. No idea.
It comes up with. If you just fill it out like Wikipedia.
So as an end to the story, how have things been left with you and Wiggers?
She said that she liked my dance and that then she invited me to like her page Wigfield. I liked it. I invited her to like my page, James Acaster. That request is pending. At the moment, she is playing quite the game.
So let's put out an appeal. Wigfield, if you're listening, please like James's page, because...
She's not still going, is she?
She is. She's actually still quite big in Denmark. She's got a new album
What's
out.
she doing all the other days?
And times a day. I think she's now on Sunday afternoon.
Her album's like that Craig David song. So Wigfield, tweet in AXFM or text us 83936 if you want to get in touch with James.
Josh Widdicombe Podcast XFM.
Now, Wigfield update. For those that weren't listening, James Acaster this week has become friends with Wigfield. To an extent, Wigfield, if you don't remember, then you're probably not our target demographic, so I'm not going to explain who she is.
Sanny Carlson, that's how that's how I know her these days, not Wigfield.
And you'd liked her page on Facebook.
Yep.
At her request, and she hadn't liked your page, but now...
She's liked my page. And I am in good company, Josh. She likes me, Pharrell Williams, and WSPA, which is the Danish RSPCA.
Is that her only 3 likes?
No, she likes a few other things I've never heard.
Were you in Blurred Lines?
She likes Giovanni Gastel, Julio Posadas, and Stenhus Kostakoli. And she likes she likes Click to Dance, which is let's see what Click to Dance is. It's an Israel dance page.
You're in great company.
It says Israel's dance hit station.
Well, there you go.
So there you go.
Wigfield doesn't like anything willy-nilly.
No.
Where are you going to take it from here?
I don't know. I mean, she also likes Andy Warhol and a band called Incognito. I think. I've invited her. She invited me.
Do you know why she likes Andy Warhol? Because his phrase best summed up her career. Everyone's famous for 15 minutes, James.
Very nice.
Bit harsh, isn't it? Bit harsh.
True though. True over here in England.
What?
It's true in England, not in Denmark.
All right, get over it. You and Wigfield.
Massive in Denmark, mate. Massive. Every night's a Saturday night in Denmark for Wigfield.
Okay, right, we'll move on, because I feel James has actually got very defensive over Wigfield.
Just like, she's really cool, and I don't like it when you get jealous of my new friend.
Now, one of the things we're talking about is a worst assembly sat through at school. And got some tweets. Kirsty in Exeter. See what you make of this. So it's not Wigfield related, so get off your high horse, James. We sat through an assembly about our deputy head stealing cigarette butts from the gutter 3 times during my school career.
What?
I don't even understand what's gone on there.
In an assembly?
We sat through an assembly about our deputy head stealing cigarette butts from the gutter 3 times during my school career.
So she had to sit through the same assembly 3 times?
I've got no idea.
I mean, if the deputy head's stealing cigarette butts from the school gutter, he should be sacked, shouldn't he?
But it's not stealing, is it? Anything out of the gutter is not stealing. That's helping yourself to rubbish. I mean...
That's what Wigfield thought when she became your friend.
I'd be angry if that wasn't so good.
I don't know, this is from That's For Sure. When we got a new head teacher in Year 6, we had an hour and a half assembly about his surname.
What was his surname?
Well, do we know what his surname was, Neil?
2 seconds.
2 seconds?
We had a teacher called Mr. Tickell, but it was spelled Tickle.
Yeah.
And, the whole first lesson with him was all about that. Him just going, get it out your system now. Go on. Take your best shot. I've heard it all before.
His surname was Hodges.
Hodges?
Yeah.
Get out your system now. I don't know, that's...
Podgy Hodgy, go on. I've heard it all.
Sounds like Hedges.
Hodge Trimmer, go on. Benson and Hodges, come on. Go on, aim for the skull. I don't even care.
What's aim for the skull?
That's him taunting them.
Oh, right, it's not a Hodge reference.
That's not a Hodge reference. That's a character called Hodges. His catchphrase.
Now, James, you said you've got a scrape coming up that is based on assembly.
Yeah, I'd forgotten all about it until you said it about assemblies.
Josh Widdicombe, Podcast XFM.
And we now move on to James Acaster scrape. Beforehand, just one question we've had in, James. Did Mr. Tickle have very long arms?
No, he didn't have very long arms, but he'd heard that one before. That was one of the many hits.
Mr. Tickle is currently at home going, I thought I'd got rid of this. This is unbelievable.
It's also a family in my village who were called the Shoeflebums, but it was spelt Shufflebum. Good fun.
There you go. Great fun. Great fun. Now, your classic scrape, James, this week.
Assembly ones, because when I was in Year 7, we got to do, each form group got to do an assembly.
Yeah.
Put it on for the rest of the year. And the week before my form group did it, Mr. Martin's class did Shooting Stars as like a Shooting Stars thing, and it was hilarious. It was really funny.
So what, they played the parts of Shooting Stars?
Yeah, they just did a Shooting Stars style thing. Danny Andrews and Craig Buechner were Vic and Bob. They nailed it. Really, really good. Yeah. They even had a joke, a risky joke in it.
Oh, what was the risky joke?
They got away with it.
Can't you say it?
I don't know if you can say... You probably can say... You can say pubes on air, can't you? Yeah.
It's too late now, James. We've been taken off air.
Just
Pube gate?
XFM's been shut down. I can't believe this.
It's like Andrew Sachs.
I'm going to have to make an apology for saying pubes on the radio.
Comedian Acaster was seen leaving his home with I
did a joke about
no
pubes.
comment to the press about the Pube Gates incident.
But yeah, there's a pube joke about one of the teachers as well.
Oh!
One of the teachers' pubes.
Whoa.
But they made it. They made the joke.
It was a tough thing to follow then.
So, you'd think... See, now, as an adult, I would think, oh no, I've got to follow that really good thing. That's really hard. As an 11-year-old, I was like... This is going to be so much fun.
Oh no!
Because they were great, so now we're going to be great.
Oh,
this is brilliant. I can't wait to do assembly next week.
Oh no!
Because assembly looks like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And so, because we'd seen them do a telly thing, our form group were instantly like, we want to do a telly show.
Yeah.
And Miss Hearn, our teacher, was like, well, what show do you want to do? And no one could agree. So eventually, she said, this is what you're going to do. One of you is going to be sitting in front of a television, channel flicking. And each time you flick onto a different channel, a different group perform a bit from that TV show. So it's going to work like that.
Not a bad idea.
So my group put together, and for any regular listeners to the show, it was the same group of people I did La 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 Humpty with. You listen to the podcast, you've got to put that in context.
La 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 Humpty.
Yeah. So our group were given... do
you want to just sing us one verse of La La La?
La 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 Humpty.
Yeah, there we go.
Yep. Get the impression it's La La Bumba, but Humpty Dumpty. We were given EastEnders.
Yeah.
To this day, I've never watched an episode of EastEnders, and I was very much the most motivated one in my group, so I had to write the whole thing, having not seen EastEnders. And as you can tell by my path in life, very much favour the comedy in life. So
you thought this is my chance to shine, to show my skills?
I thought I can be really funny. I can be Danny Andrews and Craig Buechner in one.
Oh, no.
And I can be like the funniest kid ever. So my other team, they all knew what the characters in EastEnders, and they said at the minute there's a storyline with Ian Beale where he is an eco warrior. He's like really like he's becoming like really green and stuff. I was like, great, don't need to say any more.
Leave it with me.
What are the other characters in it? There's the Mitchells, isn't there? We'll have them in. They're the only ones I'd heard of, so we'll have them in it. So what we then performed in front of the class. So the whole year was in, and also this is year 7 where I'm still kind of like basically.
Still getting your act together. You're sort of you haven't found who you are as a comedian yet, but you're sort of working on it. Yeah. I know what you mean.
But I'm establishing myself in the school year as well. I'm trying to not be bullied for the rest of my secondary school life.
Yeah. So this is where it all started.
Yeah.
This is where the rot set in.
So this is where it started the downward spiral. Because our sketch was basically the Mitchell brothers are walking along.
Yeah.
And one of them drops Mars bar wrapper on the floor. Then I come out wearing a coat. I've got a big coat on. And I go, you two, pick that up. And they go, no. I go, I said pick it up. They go, what are you going to do about it? I went, what am I going to do about it? I went, yeah, what are you going to do about it? I said, nothing. But I tell you who will. And then I ran off stage. And then I ran back on and I'd got my coat, I'd taken my arms out the sleeves and done the popper up so it was like a cape.
Yeah, classic.
And then went, Eco Man will.
Wow.
I put my hands on my hips. I went, you messed with Eco Man and his sidekick, the bin bag. And then Joe Devlin, who was my friend, was wearing a bin bag.
I thought people would have guessed this was EastEnders.
I know what people were meant to think. The class were watching it in silence. The whole year were just silent watching this.
At which point did you think I've misjudged this?
As soon as I said Eco Man, I put my hands on my
When you said Eco Man, that's when it should have gone.
Natural cliffhanger. And also, I was not good at editing at that point, so this sketch went on for about 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Take it.
It was loads of me. We ended up having like a comedy fight. Where I would like fake punch them and then they would go flying, and then when we come back, and every time I punched them I went Eco Man. I would just say Eco Man every time, and then the bin bag was just running round making little like Pingu type sounds all the time.
So what happened? How did it end?
At the end, the person had to just channel flick. So, like, when I won, and they were.
You think you pressed the button?
Well, the Mitchells were on a pile in the floor, and I put my foot up on them, and then my hands on my hips again, and was like with my coat just hanging down, just a silence, just the whole year, just staring at me.
Oh my word!
And then,
So afterwards, did anyone feed back?
Yep, I'd be walking around school, and kids would go past and either call me Eco Man or my alter ego Ian Beale.
You're just trying to get a job as a screenwriter, aren't you? That's what you're doing here.
Yep. Well, the actual plays Ian Beale hasn't done much else besides EastEnders. I think he might be interested in with the Eco Man spin-off.
He'll be presenting the next episode of Never Mind the Buzzcocks.
Be there with his coat round his neck.
I used to do stand-up as a kid, at primary school when I lived in London. I used to do stand-up on my own and to quite a lot of people, probably bigger audiences than I get now, in the playground, and I'd do it, and it was loads of fun.
Did you have to give away tickets on your radio?
No, not back then. But loads of basically all the girls in the school would watch this. They would sit and want to watch me, and it was like my favourite thing to do. And then I moved to Brighton, and I tried to do it again. I just got beaten up.
And rightly so. Thank you very much, guys. I mean, what a bleak existence. But who'd have thought one day that you would be Facebook friends with Wigfield, James?
I had. If Sean had gone to my school, he would have got beaten up for littering. And we know who by.